Today I'm going to do another painting from Scotland, from the Isle of Skye. And I've got this lovely picture here. This is the Old Man of Storr. It's Storr and the Old Man of Storr from Loch Fada on the Isle of Skye. I visited the Isle of Skye years ago, but I didn't actually get to go and look at the Old Man of Storr there. But I've got lots of challenge here. It's about getting the tonal values right. Of course, I've got to get the majesty of it, the dark brooding clouds there, but the colour of the cliffs there. And of course the real difficult challenge is going to be this reflection. How do I get that? That's sort of glass-like, isn't it? So let's get on with that. You'll notice I've sketched it out and I've tried to sketch in some of the darks just to remind me where they are. But I'm going to try and stay as close as I can to the forms and the faces here. For the rock climbers, of course, they would know these very, very well. So I'm just going to do the best I can. So I'm going to start with the sky, and I'm going to put a cobalt and make a nice puddle. And what I'm going to try and do today is be very disciplined on the, how should I say, not over painting, lots of water, keep it loose and fresh. That's what I've got to try. You should always try and do that on a watercolour, but I think particularly so when you've got something so airy and lightly toned as this, with just subtle blues and greys and purples. So I'm going to try and minimise my brush strokes just enough to get them in. I'm going to be using these Chinese brushes. They've got nice point on, but they carry a lot of water. So I'm going to just, well, there's cloud in this department down here, in this area, just behind the Old Man of Storr light. So I think I should keep that light. So let's just get some, a sweep of colour in here. You can see I've got the board tilted, so I've got gravity is going to give me a bit of a hand there. I think not too rough, so if I go over with a brush with almost dry brushwork, you can get some of the texture of the paper. Will give me a few sparkly bits. Now I've got, let's bring it right down to the shoreline initially, so we get some of our geography. And this is all green as well, and bracken. I think I should, well, it's wet, I can introduce a little bit of green. And oh yes, along this, just below the cliff forms, there is more green, so let's go for that now. I want to try and show some of the contours. And that's That's green there. And we have little bits of green higher up on the bank here, on the hillside. Let's leave that for the moment. I think we can put a bit of darker colours here. I've got to deal with the reflections. Of course, it's come out all down here, so we'll deal with that in a bit. Let's try and get some of the cliff shapes and darks in. Along here is considerably darker, so I've got a bit of raw umber there. Just try and suggest that. Sweeping them in. I'll probably introduce some blues up there as we go. And the reflection as well. In the water here. Right, some darks here, just picking out some of the areas where I've shaded to make it darker. There's a little island here as well, which is quite dark, so I'm going to get that dark in a minute. Let's this little bit of ground coming here. I think we can put a bit of green in there as it comes closer to you. Colours tend to be more intense, more chroma. And I have to get these dark. This is all sea along here. These are darks. But let's get a bit of blue into the mix now. To do some of that rock, a bit of ultramarine, a bit of violet or purple there, a bit of raw sienna to take down the blue a bit. Yes. Yes, this is all shadowed area. Just here, much darker. Reflection. Nice shape as well. Just trying to paint the shapes initially anyway, so we can get some nice design. This is darker in here, coming down to the water's edge. There's a gully there. Great slab of cliff actually comes down here. This is sort of, let's get some more bluey colour in there. This is reflection as well. So I've sketched out, I'm trying to be as accurate as I can with the reflection of this mountain here, this hillside, this wall. Right, soften that edge a little bit there, and this is darker. Make that shadow darker, like reflection on the bank there. Right. Now let's actually let me lift this camera up a little bit. I seem to have lost it. There we are. Leave it there. You can see the mountainside. And well, I've got this. We can put some of the Old Man of Storr. This is the Old Man of Storr, I believe. This rock form here. Trying to keep the shape, sketch it out fairly accurately. Something, bit of Payne's grey, we'll darken up a little bit for parts of it, so we can show some of the darker faces, like that. And the old man, of course, he's set against the skyline, so almost in silhouette. It would naturally look a little darker, set against the lighter sky. That does come down here actually, and the screes where all the thing piles down. Now let's step up a bit more. Again, a little dark element there. I want to leave that bit of light as well, so we can get some contrast. Set the light against the dark. Rightio. Little bits on the hillside here. Try to show some contouring. Now let's right. Yes, I've got to get the. I want to keep the mountain reflection accurately, so I've got to be careful not to lose that. Oh, and this Old Man of Storr reflection there, which I guess is the star of the picture. Right. Now, while I'm here with this pointy brush, there's a bit of a pine tree hanging on on that little rocky outcrop there, this little island form. Let's get that in. Let's give it a bit of green. You don't see it so much in the photograph. This is the point about photographs, is often you lose the colour in the dark forms. Doesn't seem to catch it like the human eye. So that's what you can do as an artist. You can make a few adjustments and good photographers can, of course. They expose. I've noticed that if you look at professionals' photographs, you will see colour and form in their darks if they've exposed for it. But the average Joe, certainly in my photography, is not up to that. Right, so we try and keep that. There's our reflection. This is a rocky outcrop. It's all quite dark. Some of the rock in. Now let's get back to some of the hillside colour. A little bit of raw sienna, brown. So let's go. That's the shadow. It's in here. Some greens, raw sienna as well. That's it. And this. Oh yes, I've got to get the green of the hillside reflected there around our water coming in here and here as well. So I've got fairly dry mix, so it allows me to catch some of the texture in the paper. Let's put a bit of blue with it though here. Bit of a bluer mix. Hint at the water there. Right. Okay. I need to put some more texture in our hillside though, here, to reflect some of the landfall. This is obviously a valley, but I've got lots of little gullies and keep them fairly loose, and green coming down the hillside like this. Right, now let's get this main body of water in. So I think I need a nice cerulean wash, a nice puddle actually. Let's get it's a bit blue, a bit of ultramarine. That's looking a bit greeny. I'm going to use, actually it's got a bit of purple in as well, reflecting up here. So let's get a good wash in and go with it. Bite the bullet. Right, there we go. I think we can put some darker bits in. So a bit of ultramarine here. This is going to dry a lot lighter, we know that, with watercolour. Right. Bring it right down. I've got weeds, a little bit of ground in the foreground here. I can put some plants and some texture. Yes, let's do that when we're there. Got some, let's ring the chain. Let's put a bit of hookers in there. A bit of hookers green. Created for an artist in the Victorian period, Mr. Hooker, famous for a lot of botanical drawings, paintings, plants, or great plant hunters from the Victorian era. He was one of these, so I guess they would paint, they could mix various colours from Hooker, so modern day artists still use it. It's a good mixture. There's a little bit of weeds here. Got a bank of reed. I can just, well, this is wet on wet technique. Just drop a few in there. And I've got weeds, this bank here. I think I'll mustn't do too much here, or we'll make it muddy. So I think I'll come back when I've got it's a bit drier. We put a dry mix in. Now I think I'm going to go with a smaller brush and see if I can intensify some of my dark cliff forms. So as I say, they're very blue because they're it's a good distance away. So I'm going to put ultramarine, a bit of violet, and my Payne's grey. Make it a bit more intense. So I think I can try and suggest this. Got a little number 9 here, so flat. Yes, they can come in there. Little gullies, scree coming down. And Still want to just darken some of the faces of these rock forms in the distance, but to help show their form. In that little gully there, going to shadow that. A little bit of dry mix. Try and keep this suggested edge where it joins the hillside, where it joins the grass there. And you get textures along here. I think I need to make my reflection much darker here to reflect this. Try and keep its profile outline, which I drew fairly accurately actually, so I don't want to lose that. This is the reflection of that little island with its tree. I need to ground that a little bit. Really vivid, very dark in my photograph anyway. So let's make that clear. That's a little pine. Try and get the form and have something else there. Yeah, there's the Old Man of Storr there. Again, reflection. And off of here, this needs to be darker. Get this form. Comes up here. Yeah, I could just try and soften a bit at there. Some form, some shape. And also this. It's a nice little catch the lip of the shoreline there. We've got get some raw sienna in there, bit of dry brush. I'm going to show that hillside of it there. Yes, we need some shadow forms here. Good idea sometimes to have blue in your shadow, usually with a bit of crimson alizarin will give you a good shadow form. I mean, you can do it with other mixtures, of course, whatever you like. I think I'm not far off finishing this actually, because less is more, definitely. You see, I've left a little light of the sky here. I need to reflect that in there. So what I'm going to do is get my Chinese brush, give it a good clean out. This brush here, and with a bit of tissue, put your hand. I'm going to lift some of our paint there, see if I can, a bit more moist. I think it needs to be a bit wetter, and then dab it out. Yes, I think we've got some lighter form there. And also I think I'm going to soften that edge, all that bit of sky there, with my damp brush, just to soften. We've got some lights over here, but big slab of white there. Oh yes, we said we were going to put some more reeds in here, some detailed reed. So I'm going to get a little light, very thin brush here, a number 4 round, and we'll get a fairly stiff mixture of greens and a bit of raw sienna, I guess, to darken it up a little bit. Yes, we can do that. And a little bit in our reed bank here. Right. Use the little brush here. Give me a little more drawing. Just a little bit more down here. Again, just a semi-dry brush. Let's just mix some different colours. Right. Let me think. I'm squinting my eyes at the painting now and trying to see where have I really got sufficient darks in. Need to darken that up a little bit, perhaps. So bit of Payne's grey, bit of blue, because it really was. Yeah, let's get for that. Yes, I can see that I need, this is not dark enough, that reflection in the water there. So again, a little Payne's grey, bit of my blues, try and use the direction of my brush to help create some contour. Suggest this is easier done with oil actually, but you can do it with watercolour. Yes, perhaps I need a little reflection of there in this water here and here. It is a sort of greeny colour. It's not exactly blue, but sometimes it's a good idea to kind of suggest, I suppose, rather than be totally accurate. So anyway, there we are. I think I'm going to call a halt there before I overpaint it, which is, as I've said before, is a great risk. You mustn't do that. If you like this painting or enjoy what I'm doing, please give me a like, push the thumbs up sign, and subscribe as well, because you'll get to know then when I've done some more, when I've posted another one. So you'll, and also make any comments too. If you have any ideas of what you would like to see me paint, please let me know. Or any comments if you've perhaps been climbing here in the on the Isle of Skye. I know these are very popular with climbers. I think you have a good mountain chain there, or hills called the Red Coolins, I think they are. And so maybe you have some climbers who might watch this. Who knows? Well, thanks for watching. Forgotten again. What I must do is take off the tape so you can see the, with a sharper edge, get a bit of a framing effect there. So there you see. I can get my tape off. There we are. And got a little bit off here. Let's take off this clip. There it is then. You see that? The Old Man of Storr on Skye. Fairly happy with it, but you can always improve them, of course. So I've resisted deliberately overworking today. Just wanted to keep it light and see how we go.